Hi, this tutorial video is for 1.3.4 part 2. In this part, we're going to pattern the polygons, we're going to do some extruding, and we're going to project geometry. So first thing we need to do is go to our data panel, open up our Unit 1 project folder, and you want to open up the 1.3.4 part 1 that you created last. Once you have that open, we're going to go ahead and, sorry, let me move some things out of my way here. We're going to go down to the bottom to the timeline. We're going to right click on sketch 1 and we're going to click edit sketch. Now, to make it a little bit easier to move around in here, over here on your sketch palette, you'll see you have show dimensions, and show constraints. You can click that checkbox and it will take care of that. So now they're not in your way as you are doing things. Okay, first thing we're going to do is make a pattern of the pentagon. We're going to do 5 in a circle. So what we need to do is we're going to go up to create. We're going to go down almost to the bottom. It says circular pattern. We'll click on circular pattern. It says to select your object. What we need to do is select the 5 edges of the pentagon. Then it says to select the center point. We are going to select the origin because that's where we want them to rotate to kind of make the pattern around. Oh, hold on, let me do this again. Okay, let's try again. 2, 3, 4, 5. Make sure they all turn blue. And center point, make sure you click there and then click in the center. There we go. We want the distribution to be full. We do not want to check suppression. We want the quantity to be 5. We want a total of 5 pentagons going around that circle. And click OK. We have our pentagons. Next, we're going to do the hexagon. And we're going to do a rectangle pattern with the hexagon. We're going to go create. Back down, we're going to do rectangle pattern. Again, and so you might need to zoom in a little bit. Make sure you are selecting the edges of the hexagon. Do not accidentally select your construction line. Okay. Direction, select. We're going to click select, and then I'm going to click this arrow here, and I'm going to drag it to the left. We want this to be 1.25, and it'll space everything out the way we want it. We want the quantity to be 3. One thing we need to do on this one is we're going to click that box for suppression. And I'll show you why in just a little bit. Okay, next thing we're going to do is we're going to add some more. We're going to add another row down here. So now I'm going to take this, I'm going to go down this way. I want this to be 2. So in this box here with quantity, I'm going to put 2. I want this distance to be 0.75. Now, the reason we wanted the suppression on, notice these little boxes with the check marks in them. This last hexagon over here overlaps with one of our pentagons. We don't want that. We just want these other 5. So I'm going to click that box right there, and it will suppress that last hexagon. So it's still there. We just can't see it. And then we can click OK, and our hexagons are done. Now we're going to do a rectangular pattern for the triangle. We're going to make 7 triangles all together. So we're going to go to Create, Rectangular Pattern. We're going to select all 3 edges of our triangle. Direction, we want to click Select in the box. And on this one, for direction, you want to click the construction line, that diagonal construction line. And then you want to change the number in here to 7. And then we can start dragging out. You want to drag this till this last triangle just about touches the corner of that pentagon. And then you're going to go ahead and click OK. So that is what it should look like at this point. Okay, and that is doing the pattern. So now we're going to do a little bit of extruding. So we're going to click Finish Sketch. And what we want to extrude, we want the pentagons to be like open holes, the hexagons to be open holes, and we just want 3 chevrons of the triangles to be open holes. So what we need to do, and I usually zoom in a little bit when I do this so I can kind of see a little bit better. I start with my triangles. And what we want to do, you're going to have to hit Shift key while you're doing this. Hold down the Shift key. You want to click part of these areas. We want this to be blue. The next one should be clear. And we want blue. We want that entire area there to be blue. This next area is going to be clear again. And we're going to, whoops, I don't want my construction line. There we go. Oh, okay, let's try that again. And sometimes we click in the wrong place and have to start over again. If you zoom in, you have less chance of clicking the wrong area. And then we want to do this part. Okay, so that's what that should look like. Zoom out. And now I'm also going to click this area over here that's not near our polygons. Oh, and it took my triangles away. Oh, I know why. I forgot to hold down Shift. Okay, let's go back and do this again. Yeah, okay. Let's try this again. You have to remember you have to hold down the Shift key when you do this. You need to be very careful that you're not clicking on the lines. Okay, there we go. Let me move this back over here. Now we're going to go on up to extrude. And we should have 20 things selected. We have extrude. I want the distance to be 0.5 and new body. And then I'm going to click OK. You should be able to rotate it and see that it extruded. And that's what it should look like at this point. Okay, your 5 pentagons should look like holes. Your 5 hexagons should look like holes. And you should have 3 V-looking shapes where your triangles were. One last thing to do here. Now we are going to extrude. We're going to project geometry to extrude the edges only of 3 of the pentagons. You can do any 3 of the pentagons you want. So what we are going to do, first thing we need to create sketch. And we're going to click in the gray area over here away from our pentagons. Okay. Then we're going to go to create. We're going to go all the way down almost to the bottom where it says project/include. And we want project. So create, project include, and project. Now we're going to go ahead and click the edges of the 3 pentagons that we want to do this with. You can do any 3 of the pentagons you want. I'm going to do these 3. Okay. So now your geometry in your box here, your geometry should say 15 selected. Your selection filter should say specified entries, and projection link should be checked. We're going to click OK. Now you should see that we have purple lines and purple dots on our polygons. The next thing we're going to do is an offset. We're going to offset these. So we're going to go to Modify. We're going to go Offset. And we want our offset to be -0.1. It should look larger than the original. Click OK. And go to the next one. Click offset again. Negative 0.1. Okay. And we're going to go to the next one. Click offset. Click that. Negative 0.1. So we have that all done now. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to add fillets to these. We're staying in sketch mode though when we do this. We're going to add fillets to the corners. So we're going to round the corners of the pentagons. To do this, we're going to go up to modify. We're going to click the fillet tool under modify. When you come over here, you only want to click on the points of each of the polygons. So you're going to click each one. You want them to be 0.20. Do it again. Make sure you're getting the edges. And you can go ahead and do all three at the same time. And you'll see some dimensions coming up while you're doing it. It's okay, we can subdue that in a moment. Don't worry about any warnings that are coming up while you're doing this. Okay. And once we get the last one done, we're going to click, I'm going to get rid of my constraints and dimensions again. We're going to click Finish Sketch. Oops, I missed one. I need to go back. I missed one. Edit Sketch. Fillet. And this should be 0.2. There we go. Now I can finish sketch. There we go. And the last thing we want to do is we want to go ahead and extrude this area right here, the area that we projected. We want to extrude it upward 1/2 inch. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go up to my extrude. I'm going to click, and you can click on all three of the polygons that you're doing this with. So have 3 selected, and our distance is going to be 0.5. Should be join, and we're going to click OK. And then once you are finished, let me hit the home. This is what your finished product should look like. And this is the end of part 2. One thing I forgot to do at the very beginning of this video was to go up and click File and Save As. And we wanted to call this 1.3.4 Part 2. Should have done that right at the very beginning. I forgot about it, so make sure you name it properly now. Otherwise, it's going to overwrite your Part 1. So make sure you save that properly and click Save. And that is the end of Part 2.